Oh. Okay. Well, I was gonna wait until somebody pops into stream. Oh, here we go. Hello, welcome to the stream. So, if you're here, then you are probably here for. Oh man, I just realized that this wasn't updated. Let me update that. Ba, 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 ba. I can't believe I actually forgot to update that title bit. Okay, but if you were here, you're here for JAMStack Part 2. And I can still show the rest of this. So make sure you check into mlh.io events thing. It's also linked in the Discord announcements. So today is going to be a little bit different than yesterday. Today we're going to be focusing more on, I guess, like actually building out something instead of just like, talking about the ideas behind like the Jamstack architecture style. So today's going to be less of a follow along, more of like a build with me. Um, there's basically this personal project of mine where I've been trying to migrate all of my workshops into a single GitHub repository. And right now it's very incomplete and I don't have actually like a working website for that yet. So I'm hoping that we could get something built for that in stream today. As usual, if you out on yesterday's stream, or sorry, on part 1 of this stream, then you could find the stuff from my previous announcement. Okay, anyway, so here's all of the things that I'm planning on doing for today. We're going to continue off on the whole designing thing, especially now that we have a more, I guess, like concrete website that we're going to be building. This is something that I've been kind of stewing on for a little bit. We're going to be designing it using the TL Draw and PenPot, like we tried to do yesterday, or the other on the last stream. And then we're also going to dive into a bit more of like the technical things, like the templating language, like Nunjucks, file-based routing, component-based architecture, using Emmet abbreviations, CSS frameworks, using code spaces, GitHub pages, all the good stuff. And then if we have time, I'm hoping to start integrating like some stuff from P5.js because I have some material from that, and I just want to see like if I could make some interactive stuff. Just like straight up import it. Okay, so the agenda for today is we're gonna start off by designing things. Like I think every project should. You start with a design, and then we actually are going to start building it using the 11T Jamstack framework. We're gonna be introducing some cool tools and concepts along the way. And yep, no need to take notes. This slide deck, along with the repo that we're going to be working on, is already posted in the Discord announcement. So here's a few like I guess like specs that I want to have on our workshop. So I'm actually going to just copy and paste that into the uh, whiteboard that we're going to have for today. And yeah, working repo will be this one. So if you want to peek and see what the repo looks like as we're working on it, you can. Why, hello, Void. Okay. Um, This, I can now close this code space because I'm no longer working here. Da, 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 da. Yeah. So GitHub Codespaces, if you don't know what it is, allows you to spin up VS Code in your browser. and just like run things without ever having to download anything on your computer. So I've been using that a lot for some of my recent projects, especially like the small stuff when I'm like kind of experimenting. And I know I'm not going to be working on it for a super long time. Other really nice thing is that it comes free with GitHub, or like you get like a pretty generous amount of compute time on CodeSpace. So if you haven't already, make sure you sign up for the GitHub Education Developer Pack, Student Developer Pack. It's completely free, and if you use mlh.link/pack, you can get it super fast, like today fast, if you verify that you're a student. So go ahead and check this out if you haven't already. All right, without further ado, let's actually get into it. So I'm going to go ahead, open this thing up. So this is the repo I'm working on. Basically, it's been a work in progress for such a long time that I only really have like markdown files in here. Um, and they're not even like all complete, but the point is that we've got like markdown files in here to kind of poke around with, and we can see how portable it is. I've previously tried to build this with a few other like frameworks, with my top three being Docusaurus, Astro, and 11T. I think I'm going to stick with 11T for this one, at least for stream. So let's go ahead and spin up a code space. Go ahead and create one on main. Oh, actually, before I do that, I meant to actually get into the design of this. So actually, let me stop this code space. I will paste this stuff here before getting into the code space. Stop, please. Oh, I can't stop it yet. Stop. We'll come back to you in a little bit. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna let that close and do its thing. Okay, so I've got an idea of this workshop, um, this workshop repository, and so let's go ahead and start making out some frames. We want to make a landing page, and we know from last time's stream that we need to actually start off with a hero banner. So go ahead and make a hero banner right over here, hero banner. And we're probably going to have like a navigation bar up here. Let me know if you think that it should be on the left or the right, if you have any strong opinions in chat. But for now, I'm just going to say this whole thing is the nav bar. Okay. So now that we have that, actually, let's see. I need to bring in some inspiration. Let's see, what's the best way to do this? Nope, you know what? That's fine. We can do this. I'm gonna make a gallery down here. Gallery of workshops. So then I can have like some thumbnail images of all of the workshops that we're going to be showcasing. Maybe we can make it searchable and add like a search bar, magnifying glass. I'm just going to pen that in actually. Or actually, wait, a search bar should be a bar. So we're just going to make an actual search bar, just like that. And then I will pen in my little icon. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. So then we have a bunch of stuff over here. Now we should try to figure out what each of these individual gallery things are going to look like. Maybe we'll have a title down here. I might need to actually just use a text box and then resize that to be smaller. The title, the image, or the thumbnail, and then maybe we can have some sort of like a tag down here. I'm gonna go grab my water bottle real quick because it's gonna be like a 2-hour stream. I need to make sure I'm hydrated. Okay. Maybe if we're fancy, we can also have like the technology, what it is that we're actually like teaching. And then, yeah, we can just go ahead and plop that in right over here, just like that. Okay. So for the hero banner, maybe we'll have like some sort of a cool graphic over here. Cool image or animation. And then we could have like a little blurb on what it is that's happening here. Hi, this is my workshop stuff. We'll leave it at that. Okay, I think this is a pretty reasonable start. Maybe we should also just like leave some room for a footer down here. Pretty classic setup. Okay. Now gonna need we've already done the landing page. Cool. We've done the gallery view of the workshops. Cool. Each workshop should have at least 2 files, instructions for how to run the workshop, and then presenting material for the workshops. So this is going to be on a separate page. So let's go ahead and set up a new frame for this. Whoop. Workshops page. Okay. It always helps to have a hero banner, even on internal pages. So here's what we're going to do. We're probably going to... I think it's useful to still have another, like, keep the navigation bar consistent so that we always have one on each page. So that should, at the very least, be consistent. And then we could have our new hero banner, which is some sort of the thumbnail image probably for the workshop. And then let's see, we should just straight up like lead into it with the title. Maybe it'll be cool if we have like a table of contents on the left or the right side. I'll just toss it to the... So we'll take some of the other like JAMStack websites. Yes, we are using TL Draw. Hey Ryan, it's good to see you. Yeah, so if you want to join this TL Draw whiteboard, it is also pasted in the Discord announcement. You want to just like follow along. Oh, I should probably name this. This is the Lo-Fi Workshop. GHW. Gonna make sure we tag that. Okay. Let's see. And I think it's a bit distracting to have the tags and stuff. Maybe we can... I don't know. I'm thinking about where the tags and the technology should go. the things that we have on the gallery thumbnail. Maybe we can put that on the thumbnail itself. I'm just gonna write it down so I don't forget to add it. And then when we get to the actual design bit, we could toss this around somewhere more useful. Maybe we put it above the table of contents. Yeah. And then the technology, it could just be like the little icons of whatever it is that we're building. Okay, so we actually still have two different kinds of files that we need to be looking at. One is going to be the actual instructions for how to run the workshop, and then the other is going to be presenting material. So for presenting material, we don't actually want them to have access to the rest of the actual instructions, but I think it's still relevant to have on this project itself. So maybe what we can do to organize this is we make it so that the presenting material is its own like repo and or like a separate like page or something that you actually give to your students. And then we still have like a preview of what it is that you can actually look at in the, I guess, like this workshops page. So one idea I've been kind of toying around with is if you're familiar, actually, I, what's a good example? Oh, just like a tab system, really. So normally, if you have like a tab system, tab example, we basically just have like tab one, right? And then we have tab two. And so tab one's contents could fill up this page right over here, tab one. But then as soon as you click tab two, tab one disappears and then it becomes tab two, right? Like all of the contents of it stays the same. Or I guess like the structure stays the same. It's just that the content gets replaced based off of which one is active. So I'm going to try to see if we can implement that today. That's not a JAMStack specific thing. That's just I mean, we'll figure it out. We're going to be doing a lot of Googling and asking Copilot for some help. Hello. It is good to see another mouse on this whiteboard. Okay. So I think this about covers it. Hi. Howdy. Maybe we should have the tab. I'll just put the tab up over here for now. And we'll go off of this layout for now. Okay, so now that we have, I guess, like a very like rough outline of what this is going to look like, um, I'm going to yoink this. Oh, I don't mean to duplicate. Yoink this, and then hop into our open source prototyping tool. Haha. So I have a template up now. This is PenPot, a open source alternative to Figma. What is the link of this page? Uh, the link is. I'm assuming you're talking about the TL draw. I guess I can paste it in chat. But it's also attached to the Discord announcement, along with all of the other resources. And it should also be in the repo for today's workshop. Oh look! Oh, I should have just pasted this in chat like a long time ago so I could actually see you. Okay, cool. Howdy. Okay. Um, let's see. Looks like you're having fun. I'm gonna keep on going because I do need to make sure that we get in a little bit of designing today. But do continue to have fun in the whiteboard. Okay, so I basically actually let me show you what it is that I did. So after I've created a new, I guess like projects page, created a new team, I've just gone down here. I've made a new project for day one. This is the one that we're actually going to be working in, but I did want to explore what like a actual like design thing looks like. So if you're building like a bigger scale project or like working on like a big team, like let's say you're building out like a hackathon website, uh, it really helps to have a design system or like library where you define the typography, the colors, and the spacing, and just make sure that you've got like standards to make sure that everything that you build is going to be consistent. And so this is something that's really useful, especially like companies like Figma, right? Like Figma has to make sure that their branding is consistent on any, I guess, like sub projects that they build. I mean, like MLH has its own like branding guideline system. Um, so yeah, uh, the core like methodology behind this is I guess like in Penpot we call the smallest like reusable component bits atoms. And so this includes things like the typography. So these are like the smallest units of things that you can kind of like standardize. And then we've got, I guess, like colors. Yeah, that makes sense. We've got the spacing. Okay. We've got the logo. We've got icons, the things that we're actually going to use. Um, so let's see. We should be able to just like export these things whenever we need them. And it's just in a very similar place like Figma. Whoop. Okay. So next up are the molecules. When you put a bunch of atoms together, you get molecules, right? And so the molecules are going to be like super reusable like components. So these are the things that you would normally use like a component framework like React for. So yeah, we got all the buttons, we got the inputs, and then when you start putting these things together, um, you get organisms. I guess like if we were talking about the biology bit, we'd actually be jumping up to tissues and then to organs and then to organ systems and then to the actual organism, but that's fine. These things are just a collection. Like these are these are the bigger components, which are the things that you're like consistently reusing. So in our case for today, when we start jumping into the templating language stuff, a lot of the templates that we're going to be building are going to be components. And so this is where we're going to be hanging out a lot. Um, However, there's kind of much more here than what it is that we need for our use case for today. So instead of actually diving through that, I'm going to be starting one from scratch because I think it's important to at least when you're learning new technology to at least like try learning it like the fundamental pieces first before you start using like any like existing frameworks or like other people's things and kind of trying to jam off of those things. Okay, so without any further ado, I've got a new page. Let's actually delete this board because I think I added that in. So we actually have like a blank canvas to start with. So earlier I had, oop, that is the teal draw thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, y'all have been busy. Okay, I'm gonna just yoink this. Let's see if this is yoinkable. Not really. I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this then, so that I have a reference. Add pizza. Are we gonna add pizza to our website for today? Is that what's going on? Okay. How is your handwriting so good with the mouse? That is impressive. No. No way, you're doing that with oh okay, okay, touchscreen. I thought you were gonna say a touchpad. Like a trackpad. I would have been even more like impressed. If you've done the Oh my god. There's a couple times where I ran the Bob Ross like drawing event at hackathons. Um, where basically you follow along with a video of Bob Ross in like a painting app, and I've done that just using a trackpad, and it was such like a painful experience that I only did it once, and then I just kind of like hung out with the crowd afterwards. Yeah, it was a bit of a mess. Anyway, okay, so we're back over here. Unfortunately, there's not like a really good way for me to add you all unless I added all of y'all's emails to this, and I'm not about to dox y'all like that. Bob Ross is so much fun. Honestly, yeah. It Trying is a bit of a skill that takes some time. I think the tools that I think that's recommended to use with it, which is I think it's like JS Draw or something like that, where it's like a okay. I'm getting a little distracted. I'm gonna just drop my preferred online painting tool of choice, which is pixelart.com. Um, if you're going to if you're going to draw something here, I recommend you start. Whoop, yeah, new drawing. That's fine. You start by picking up a brush, and you can get a lot more texture like that, and that like more closely mirrors like what Bob Ross is doing. Tried Krita too. Mm. Well, I think once you get 100 Bob Ross drawings, I think you're gonna be a lot better at drawing than you used to be. So once you get up to that, maybe it'd be a fun like opportunity for you to build a JAMStack website with a gallery of all your Bob Ross drawings. That actually sounds like a really fun like hackathon project idea to like make like a public like gallery of all of your Bob Ross drawings for all of the MLH mini events. Okay, so getting back to it, we've got three. No, we only got two boards to really focus on. Um, so let's see. I'm gonna just start by getting the broad layout of this thing. Actually, instead of making freehanding a board, I'm gonna use a size preset. So thankfully, most prototyping tools they'll have presets for all of the different devices, and it's really funny seeing um, that these devices all have like different sizes and like aspect ratios. Like, look at this, the iPad Pro. Oh, actually, no, no. Well, let's talk about like the iPhones. Like between the iPhone Pro and then the iPhone the 12 and then the 11, like it's funny seeing that they have like a completely different aspect ratio. Okay, so we're actually just gonna jump over to our standard 1920 by 1080p full HD kind of resolution. New GHW stream idea? Yeah, honestly, it would be really thematic with open source too. With the open source week. Maybe let's take a peek at what the other GHW themes are and see if we could do a sneaky stream like that. I would love to see that. Okay. Um. Oh, actually, wait. We could even make our own like drawing canvas. One of the projects that I've done in in the past. Let me pull it up. So you don't know. Actually, okay. Let me pull it up first, and then I'll talk about it. Emoji painting. Where is it? Okay, I think I've got it. No. Here, let me actually pull this on stream so that y'all can see this. Okay. So this is P5, which is a JavaScript like canvas animation library, which is pretty fun. And there's a project that I did a while back, which was making a painting app. Let's see if this still works. Okay. So basically, yeah. So right now I'm painting with emojis. um, and if I remember correctly, if I just press 2, then my emoji will change. There we go. And it'll change to the preset emojis that I have over here. This isn't like super scalable, like easily scaled. I didn't program it good enough. Blush spin. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I want to see more Bob Ross portfolios. Imagine pulling up. Um, basically, it actually probably it also stamps based off of where your mouse is. Whenever like right now I have it like on click, it does this. So if y'all wanna play around with this, I'll just post it in chat right now. But what I'm getting at is because this is all written in JavaScript, and like the way that this like sandbox works is it literally just gives you an HTML file. All we have to do is actually just like yoink this JavaScript file, yoink this script, and these two scripts up here, and then we can just put this in whatever website that we build. So as soon as we start programming, remind me, and this can be like one of the first things that we do. Okay, I'm gonna hop back over to our prototyping tool. I need to make sure I rename this because we're not actually looking at day 1 anymore. We're looking at day 2. Okay, so first thing that we're going to need to have is our nav bar. Um, let's actually let's take a peek at some cool nav bars. Actually, no. What's the best way to do this? We need to figure out what things we would need to have on our nav bar. Which is basically just the workshops and the landing page. I don't know if that's really instead of having a nav bar, we'll just call it a header. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a new frame up here, and we'll just call this our header. We'll call this board our screen, and so we can actually see so that we can actually see our header and where it is. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a stroke. That way we've got like a nice outline. Okay, so inside our header, I think it helps to have like a maybe like a little logo over here. I don't currently have a logo handy, but we could just use like a Blage picture. Which reminds me of the scratch stamp one. Okay, okay. I see we really want to have some pizza thing. So we're gonna do that. We'll make a we can make the pizza emoji as our logo. That's what we can do. Oh yeah, sorry. We are making a website today. And we're starting with design because all websites should start with a design. You're gonna give me the MLH pizza guy? Okay, cool, cool. I don't know if there's a way for me to download that from chat. So maybe if you could drop it in the Discord and then just like ping me on it. Okay, sorry. I saw somebody had responded to me in Discord. I was like, what? Um, okay, where was I? Ah, yes. So for now, I'm just going to make a new like text thing. And I'm going to go ahead and put the pizza emoji. I think I broke it. I- Oh no, Penpot doesn't support emojis yet. Okay, that's really funny. Okay. I'm just gonna grab a pizza emoji PNG. Okay. What kind of pizza emoji are you feeling, chat? What stack am I using? Ah, so today, we're teaching, JAMStack, or let me pull up my website. So basically, JAMStack. Oh, you know what? No, I'm just gonna jump straight to it. JAMStack is an architectural style, and the text that we're working with. Wait, I have a slide on this. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit. Boom, boom. What type of workshop is this? Uh, I thought I had a slide on this. I don't have a slide on this. Bummer. Okay. We're basically just working with vanilla tech stack and a meta framework that is 11T to actually run the thing. So I'm not going to be doing any React today because I believe that there's a lot of problems that comes with trying to learn a component-based like framework without actually learning how to use the vanilla tech stack. No pineapple. You like the fifth one? Okay, cool. And I see that you've got the sticker. Okay. Let's see if there's a way to download this. Maybe not. Pizza emoji. Peter the pizza. Let's see what happens if we look up Peter the pizza. Emoji. Sticker. No luck. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a screenshot of Peter the pizza, and I'm going to look at GitHub for a open source background remover in the spirit of open source. Should it be a JPEG? Well, it just needs to be something I can download, and currently I can't download that. And I know at least on Windows, when you screenshot, it saves as a PNG. Machine learning project created with Django. Okay, let's see. Client-side background remover with web GPU based on this demo. Can we open up a demo? That's the thumbnail. I don't want to download this. Let's keep looking. Background remover Photoshop. Remover bot. That's on Python. Or that's a Discord bot. I'll bet you maybe open source background remover. Okay. I'm gonna take this off of the stream so that I can not dox myself with the files that I have. In the meanwhile, I'll pull up the whiteboard so y'all can see what funny things are happening here. Okay. I have downloaded the new image. Okay, cool. So, hi, I like pizza. What is your favorite ice cream? The Ben and Jerry's Americone Dream. If you haven't had it, it's I don't know if this is like an international thing, or like if it exists anywhere outside of the US. Oh my god. That is really funny. Okay, this is my favorite ice cream. It's just like a combination of like some fun stuff, like nougat and waffle and fudge and some caramel. So our friend Void Burner over here made this image, which is that's pretty peak. Okay. By the way, I use this website, this open source project. It actually works. So I actually have our pizza person, Pizza Peter. I am clicking all over the place because I'm losing my mind. Okay, let's see if I can upload. I don't actually know how to upload. Um, export. Hmm. Okay, it is time to. Okay, this is my library. It's not under pages. It's not under here. Oh, wait, it's probably on our toolbar up here. Yes, image. Here we go. Here we go. And bam. Oh, it's a little pixelated. Maybe we can plug it into a open source image upscaler. Oh, I forgot to follow chat. What's going on? Google background image remover. Yeah, we found it. Okay. The Stephen Colbert one. Yes, yes, it is. And we got Peter the Pizza. Okay, cool. I am all caught up now. Um, honestly, I think this is going to be a pretty small logo. So why don't we use this one for now? And then if we need to upscale it, we could look up some open source image upscalers. Okay. So now we've got this. Let's go ahead and put in a text thing that just says workshop thing. We'll just call it workshop for now. This is strange. I wonder if there's a way to import the other thing as a library. I'm gonna take a peek in here. How can I assign this as my library? Since it's already published. Yeah, it's under here. Is there an SVG of Peter the Pizza? Probably download high res. Oh, okay. Cool. You have a CRITA file of Peter the Pizza? That's pretty funny. Okay. Where where was I? Oh, I was trying to figure out how to import in our file library. Assets, libraries. Ah, there it is. Okay. So there we go. Now we've imported in our design system. And so now we've got all these components and buttons and stuff that we could just drag in, which is going to be super handy. Um, so we want a plus button. Easy. Just like that. Doesn't get easier than that, chat. Okay. With that said, I want to apply a text to this. What do you mean there's no... Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay. Let's see. This is going to be... Oh, we got a bunch of different sizes of titles. What's call to action look like? body, h1. Okay, let's start with that. And then we've got the title of our page. We've got what else? I don't think we need anything else up here because the main thing that we're going to have, I guess, is our hero banner next, and then we're going to have the project gallery. Oh boy, how am I doing on time? 45 minutes in. Oh boy. I don't know if we're actually going to have enough time after designing all of this. I hope we will. Okay, so let's get in our frame. Oh, no. Okay, so I don't know if y'all in chat use Figma a lot, or you're using, oh my gosh, PenPot or like any prototyping tool. One advice that I saw was that you should try to make sure that like you use frames instead of like the rectangles for like anything that you would normally use rectangles for. Because the rectangles and like the other like shapes and stuff that you could generate in like Figma or these prototyping tools, they come out as like Boolean objects or like what's it called? Like SVGs that you can like manipulate with all of their curves and stuff. Um and normally you just are using frames to just like I guess like group things together. So if you're building like components, you should always be using frames. In PenPot, they're called boards. What is going on in chat? Yeah, yeah. Vectors for life, honestly. A good hacker will always yellow the design and yeah. Well, this is how you be a different kind of hacker by designing. Or I guess this is what happens like it, I can just like imagine like the designer on your team just like hanging out and just like, oh, I made all of these things, and then the engineers on the team are like, yeah, cool, and then they don't do anything with it. And then so the entire time like the designer's just sitting there just like kind of cringing at the problems that would have been solved if you just like listened to them. Okay. Uh anyway, let's get in a color for this. Let's just get in a nice light grayscale so we can know where our hero board is. We've done that hackathon. Yeah, there we go. Found you on YouTube and subbed on Twitch. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you, 8-bit. Yeah, I can definitely see that they would definitely be what's it called? Horrified. I'd be horrified too. Imagine like hiring an expert and then you're like, okay, cool. And now that we have an expert, I'm not going to listen to them. Definitely not something that happens in the professional world. Oh, pretty cool. I see Malik. Oh shoot, I forgot how you wanted me to refer to you by. I just see name and then I'm like, okay, cool. Is it Abaneve? Anyway, they made a pretty cool link manager for all of I guess like the handy things for the MLH stuff. Best project from Way. Yes, this is the bestest project from Way. Everybody, if you haven't seen this project yet, I invite you to check out this one right here. It's this is quite possibly the best open source project that I've ever seen. Give it like as many stars as you can. I think it actually has over 1 billion stars now. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna just drop it in chat. It is mlh.link/best project. No, I'm not gonna click it on stream. Y'all need to experience this yourself. There are some things that you just need to see for yourself. Some projects that are just like that amazing. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna keep on doing the design things. So because the hero graphic is probably going to be pretty static. I actually have a hero graphic in mind. Um, it's probably going to be this project. Whoop, I need to actually add this to the window. Whoop, I put it on the wrong thing. Here we go. A while back, I like coded up this Pac-Man ghost. So I think this would be really fun to have as the hero image on our project. So I'm just I'm just gonna say that this is where the Pac-Man ghost is. And then we're gonna have our text over here. So this text over here is probably going to be, let's make sure that we actually use an appropriate thing here. We've got a title large. It's just going to be welcome to the workshop website. Cool. That's actually smaller than the H1. So I might actually just change that to the H1. There we go. And then I'll make this one smaller. The smaller H1. Okay. I don't think we're gonna have anything on the right hand side, so we're just gonna left align everything. And because we actually have all of the content for this, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this, use some auto components. Do 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 do. Guides. No, it's not under guides. I want to, yes, flex layout. So I'm more used to the way that Figma does it. Let's make sure we name this one properly. Peter the Pizza. It's a pretty epic project, isn't it? Free dev post premium. Oh, thank you 404 for sending the link. Appreciate it. I'm just loving chat right now. I had a my stream yesterday was like a lot more quiet. And I was like, oh man, I miss the energy. Okay. Uh so I'm looking at my time management and I'm realizing that like if I actually properly design this thing, we're not gonna get to any development. So what do y'all want in chat? Do you want to design this properly and like have like a nicely formatted like thing, or should we just like get down and dirty and start like programming? Okay, okay. Sounds like we're just gonna jump into it. We already have our rough outline anyway. That's enough to work with. Okay, cool. I'm going to I'm gonna make sure I have to. Oh boy, wow, y'all have been busy. Y'all have been really busy. Okay. I'm gonna have this thing on the side, so that I could refer to it, while we work on the thing. Okay, so let's actually open up a code space now. Um, so if you don't know how to open up a code space, you go to code, you go to local code space, and then you go create code space on main. You gotta be signed into GitHub in order to do this. But another pro tip is that you could actually access the VS Code editor. Like normally, I've seen a lot of people they'll just like hop into GitHub, and then like, if they see like a small thing and they don't want to like if they don't have it downloaded, they'll just go in here and like edit the file like from here, which is like a reasonable thing to do. But I found a really cool GitHub repo. Sorry, I'm gonna do a little bit more of a tangent because it is related to open source. So GitHub, as you know, has its own GitHub organization on here, and so they've got a repo. Um, let's see. I'm looking for orgs. So I've got the GitHub org. Okay. And I was just like taking a peek at their repositories, and I found one that was pretty interesting. And I don't remember. I think it's just called dot. Is it just called period? No. Where is it? Docs. By the way, GitHub has a really insane like design system. Like it's very, very intense. Markup still repos. Hmm. Okay, I'll look at one more page and see if I can find it. Otherwise, I'm just going to demonstrate what it is I'm talking about. No find, no luck. Okay. But yeah, basically I was scrolling through GitHub once and then I just like saw a repo where it just says press period to activate this. And I say, oh, okay, cool. So I tried that. And then so if you just press period, I just pressed period just now. You can see it's doing all sorts of shenanigans up here. And it's changed the URL from .com to .dev. And it's opened up a code editor like this. So if you want VS Code to edit code without actually seeing what it does, this is what you can do. However, it doesn't come with a computer. So like if you try to run anything, it doesn't do anything. You'd have to open it up in a code space. And so that's actually what we're going to do. Am I? Yeah, I'm actually in the right thing. So I'm just going to continue working in a code space. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. I don't actually need anything totally crazy. So I'm just going to do the lowest compute option. I think the funniest thing about GitHub Codespaces is because it functions as a web app. You can actually download this onto your computer instead of downloading VS Code. Okay, cool. So now that we're in, let's see. I'm gonna make a new branch. Create new branch. I'm gonna call this GHW 11T. Let's make sure we're on the branch. We are on a branch, which is neat. Okay. So I don't actually remember how to install 11T. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up the 11T docs because I've been doing that so much it just shows up. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, we're going to just go ahead and npm install 11T. I don't need this anymore because I have this. Allow. Okay, cool. Let's see what my extensions are up to right now. I've been kind of fighting my extensions for a little bit because like for a while I had like 70 something extensions installed and for some reason they were all like synced. So I like every time I tried to open up VS Code, it was just kind of like blow up my computer. That is true, Physic. VS Code is it totally is an Electron-based app, which is it's funny to see, but it's even funnier to see that you can download a code space as a web app as well, which fundamentally means that like yeah, I guess you're doing the same thing except that like it's still not running natively. And like even though like you can open up like all of your files and like stuff probably like through the web app, it's still going to be taking away like none of the stuff that none of the compute resources are actually going to be on your machine. There's still going to be on the GitHub code spaces. Okay. Um, as another side note, VS Code is itself open source. Um, and I actually did a project over the summer where I was looking into building a custom IDE, and I found that there was another like project because like VS Code exists, right? Um, and it's like maintained by Microsoft, but not all of it is like truly like configurable. And so there's actually another project that's an even more open source version of VS Code, and it's called the Theia IDE. So while I wait for my extensions to load, this one was really confusing for such a long time. But I finally started figuring it out. But yeah, this is if you go through the talks, it'll talk about like how this is like a more open source version of VS Code. It's pretty funny. Yeah, Electron apps are kind of they're so chunky. The browser-based version works similarly. Yeah, yep, that makes sense. Thanks for the info dump on that. Oh, looks like one of my extensions is asking me to reload, so we'll listen to it. Wrote a blog post. Cool. MLH starting guide. And supremacy. I mean, to each their own. Um, at one stage, I was really thinking about getting super into like doing like Doom Emacs, and then I realized that like I was getting way too into the sauce, and like if I really wanted that like Vim experience, I could just install the Vim bindings on VS Code, and then I did that at one stage, and then I was just having such a terrible time because it would always default you in command mode, and I would like start typing immediately, and I wouldn't realize that, and I just got like royally screwed up. The funny thing is that like you still get like a lot of the benefits from like all of like the Vim things that you would like normally like really like, especially like skipping between words and like jumping to a new line. You can actually do that like natively in VS Code. Or like, okay, what I'm trying to say is, if you use the like control modifier, you can skip around to different words. And if you do that with shift, then you could like select like several words at a time, skipping around. Um, and I believe, what was the other things? These are like some basic things that like kind of work on like anything that supports like any sort of like modern text editor should support that, even like Google Docs. But VS Code has a bunch of other like super cool key bindings. Like Control Alt allows you to get multiple cursors. And then if you click and Alt, then you can have your cursor in several places. You can do some goofy stuff like that. I'll probably start showing a few more of those as we get into this. But for now, I'm gonna I'm gonna try to get back to the task at hand. Oh, that sounds really rad. Sounds like a rad project. Hey, Skitty. Fuse Codium is the default version of code shipped on certain. Huh. Oh, whoa. Fuse Codium 2 is another open source version. It only uses OpenVSX. Yeah. Why do you know so much about this? You just must be like a huge open source fan. Okay. So let's see. Instead of following this tutorial properly, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to skip over to starter projects. And I'm just going to look at the source code for this and then yoink as many things as possible. Okay. As that didn't actually load. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and jump this into dev because it's a little bit more performant when looking at different files since it doesn't require like a half like page kind of load. Oh. Ooh. Okay. So we got filters. Um, don't need to worry about filters, so I'm not going to copy that over yet. Let's see what's going on up here. We got a Vercel thing. We got a Netlify thing. 11t config. We don't need to worry about this config, I don't think yet, because our main thing is Oh, actually, we will want to make sure that we actually use the right like templating engine. So I'm gonna go ahead and yoink this at the very least. So the way that 11T works is it's got like a what's the name of this? Whoop, wrong place. 11t.config.js. So we're gonna make a new file 11t config.js, and then we just copy and paste that in. So now we've got our template formats that we could read in. Okay, and then what's going on here? If your site deploys to a subdirectory, okay, but there is a default. I'm pretty sure there's a default for this. I'm gonna move this down here so I don't have to move my mouse as much. Okay, these are all optional. Output is going to be in site. Input is going to be in content. So I guess I already copied that over, so I can just look here. Input is going to be content. So I need to move all of my markdown files into a new folder. We're going to call this content. We're going to just move that in there, move this in there, move that in there, that in there. All right, that looks a lot cleaner already. Look at that. I like having a really clean top level directory. It's so much less like overwhelming. Which theme is this? This is the Katpuchin pastel theme. Where's my installed things? Freaking, I keep on like trying to get this thing to unsync, because I really don't need all of these things, but like I have to keep on like manually uninstalling them, and it's really annoying. I need to figure out where to do that. Maybe it's in like my local VS Code thing, because I can't change these config settings in code space. Okay. Anyway, this is the theme that I'm using, and it comes with a pretty cool icon theme as well. So Katpuchin for VS Code. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's see what else we need to include. We are going to need a includes folder. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder that's just called underscore includes. I'm going to make a new folder underscore data. And let's take a peek in here and see what kind of stuff that was put under data. I don't really know what that is. So I'm not going to include it until something breaks and we need to have that. This is just metadata for like a blog author. So we don't actually, well, I guess, yeah, that makes sense if like in our scenario, we have multiple authors for each workshop. I'm actually not going to include that yet because I want to make sure that we actually have time to build out the thing. Okay, so here's some juicy stuff. We've got the layouts. Layouts is where the actual like templates are. And so you'll notice that this thing's got like a OL with a class thing, LI. It looks like it's HTML. But then you look in here and we've got like all this other weird stuff with like the percents and the curly braces. So this is a example of a templating language, which basically just takes HTML, but then it allows you to put in a little bit of like business logic that's not JavaScript. And then you can like insert information that we can draw from other files. And so that kind of information is stored in Markdown files in a section that's called the YAML front matter. So if we actually take a peek in here, we can take a peek into maybe the first post, right? And so this thing over here, it's got triple dash, and if you put that at the very top of a markdown file, that's going to be a special case where it considers it as front matter. So this is all the metadata that comes with this file. And so we can actually extract this bit right here and insert that straight into our templates. So like our post URL is going to be coming from our YAML metadata. And this is also useful for like a few other things. Like you can use it to create templates. So in this one, we've got the head like HTML tag, right? And then we've got all this other stuff going on. So if we take a peek in here, it looks like we can just add in CSS from different places. So this is how we install all of our CSS. This is a big comment. This is another comment. Okay. The point is that the way that this works is that like the 11t node package that we installed, it basically goes through and whenever it sees one of these templating language things, it generates that into its own, I guess, like sort of thing. What am I trying to say? It does all of the logic of translating it from the template code into, I guess, like real HTML code, and it puts that into a build directory. And so when we actually start running 11t, we should be able to see that pretty soon, and it'll be spit out into the underscore site area. So let's actually go ahead and run this. And so I'm going to take a peek at the README over here. I'm actually going to yoink this. I'm going to put this under the top-down thing. We'll just call this docs.md. Just so that we have this handy. It's always nice to have that somewhere. Well, I guess I could actually just put it in the primary README because I don't actually have any meaningful information there. And so we'll just call this and running instructions. Oh, I forget that like I like to have my screen really small because I like to see more things, but I want to make sure that all of our viewers can actually see. Okay. What's going on? The chat. Y'all are talking about some crazy stuff that I have no idea what you're talking about. It looks cool though. Okay. So let's see. We've already installed 11t. The next thing for us to do is to actually run it. Let's take a peek at here. We don't actually have a run script yet. Let's see if the 11t template has a run script. Yeah, here we go. So we've got some scripts up here. Yoink this. Yoinked. Okay, cool. So now instead of typing out npx at 11t/11t, we can just do npm run build. So if we run build, hopefully it works. We've got a problem. To load an ES module, we need to type module and package. Ah, yoink that. Let's try that again. Okay, cool. So we've actually built out all of the files, and we've actually got a new place where all of these things exist. And so remember how like all of the content here was originally in Markdown? Now it's been converted to HTML. Pretty sick. So actually, if we were to run, whoop, let's close out some of these things. If we were to run npm run start, we'll be able to actually see what this looks like. And because we don't have any like styling, this should just be like a pretty basic, like bare bones thing. No, cannot get. What's going on? I actually like to have this open in my text editor. Open in browser, open in editor. Simple browser, there we go. So, what's going on is we don't have a root level, I guess, like markdown file for our contents to, I guess, like be caught under. Because if we were to look here, if we look at under content, we have a 404 about, and then we've got a index. So what we're missing is the index page. So we're going to go ahead and make a index page over here, index.html. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to do exclamation mark, and then we'll see this thing that says Emmet abbreviation, and it looks like it's going to give us a bunch of handy stuff. So we're going to try to hit that. So I mentioned at the very beginning of this workshop that we're going to be teaching a little bit about Emmet abbreviations. Emmet abbreviations is it's like a VS Code thing that's kind of like built in that allows you to write HTML like really fast because it gives you a lot of shortcuts like this. And so if you want to learn more about that, it's actually linked in the workshop repo over here. So I'll just show you where it is so that when you are looking for this link, you can find it. Bam. So here's a quick cheat sheet. Basically, if you use their like shorthands, abbreviations, you could just like generate like a bunch of text like this. And so I'll show you, we'll start doing a little bit of that. But first off, let's just get in a title. So if I wanted to make like an unordered list that had maybe like 8 list elements, I could just do something like this. So the first thing is the name of the first element that we want. And then I put in a, what's it called? A right angle bracket, which says as an immediate child of this left element. And then I put in the name of the next element, and then I put in how much I want. And then what I can do is I can take this another step further. I can just make it like a lorem ipsum dump. And so if you ever need to have like a lorem ipsum dump in like a bunch of different like text things, this is one way that you can do it. Good night, 404. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, Emmett is super sick. Um, so if you want to learn more, definitely check out their website. This is just the cheat sheet, but if you actually go to like the actual documentation website, they'll have demos. They'll have like some other interactive stuff. They also have some stuff for CSS. Super handy. I believe they actually have like a live editor thing. You can even wrap with abbreviation. I always forget how to do this. Ah, okay. So you need to use a shorthand, Shift plus Control plus A to wrap with abbreviation. Okay, anyway, yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do. You forgot to check in. Shame on you. I'll get you the link. Who here knows the meaning of lorem ipsum? Okay, so a bit of lore dump on lorem ipsum. It's actually not just a bunch of like mumble jumble. It's actually a really old Latin like poem, I believe. Let's just double like actually pull up a source for this. It's not random text. Classic literature. Undoubtable source. There we go. It's a excerpt from a work of uh, an article or like yeah a work by Cicero. So it's a very, very old thing. I guess there's the whole dump. Oh, look at that. We even have a translation for it. Sorry, I know this is kind of small. I'm gonna just dump this in chat if y'all want to explore it yourself. But yeah, that's lorem the lore behind lorem ipsum. So now you can just like surprise all these like random people out in the internets. Yeah, so many languages to learn, right? And then I just gave you another one, which was the M abbreviations, and then on top of that, we've got this meta framework we're working with which is 11T. And I'm actually about to introduce another one. Actually, I want to make sure we have some content on here so that we can actually take a peek. But basically, there's right now this is kind of ugly, right? Like this is just like the generic CSS, your browser based things. So there's another really cool thing. It's called Pico CSS. So this is a minimal framework. And basically it's like if somebody took like Bootstrap and made it like more lightweight. And so this one is very much like if you just had like a little bit of like starter CSS that you just had somewhere. So what we're gonna do is we are just going to take it from the CDN, the content delivery network, and we're just gonna dump this right in here. So we'll just say that. There we go. And so you notice that it has some pretty nice defaults. Um, okay, so I actually, in order for us to actually like access all of the files in here, we'd have to go in here and like actually go through the individual routes. Let me find something that, let's see. Here, I have like a little like README setup thing. So if I wanted to go in here and go to the README setup, I'd have to currently go to setup. But setup doesn't actually like have an index.html file. It just has like a bunch of like readmes. So if I were to actually try to find that, I guess I could go into sites setup readme. Yeah, so each of these individual files, they turned into individual routes. So if I were to go into general, now we've got something that pulled up. But you'll notice that even though like my index.html page has this new like handy CSS thing, this individual page does not. So that's something that like this CSS page is something that we want to have reproduced in every single one of our pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this index.html page into a template file instead of it making it just a HTML page. Also, I want to also explain this. So you'll notice that like some of these files. Okay, so like in this one, we have like index.md, and then this is under a folder that's called creative programming. And so if we were to go into here, we can see that that just turns directly into index.html. So if we were to go here and then we change this routes to concepts/creative programming, um, oh, did I spell it wrong? Creative programming P5. There we go. It actually loads without us having to say like index.html. And the even nicer thing is that this URL does not have like the index.html thing. So basically, like it just turns it into like a clean URL without it being like an actual like link all the way there. Yeah, HTML is it's really annoying to learn. Um, oh no, I accidentally closed my whole window. Uh, Thankfully, if you start by learning, if you start by using like meta frameworks like 11T, then like you start learning what am I trying to get at? I retract my statement. We're just going to try to learn this templating language and see how far we can get. Okay. But it's been a while since I've like committed anything. And I want to like there's already like a bunch of file changes, so we're just going to go ahead and commit what we have right now, and we'll just say init 11t. Since it seems like we've got things that's pretty much working. Make sure we publish this branch. I'm not going to make a pull request yet because we're not done. Okay, so now we have a saved working commit because we know that this kind of works. Now we're going to get funky. We're going to start by turning this into a templating file. And so what we can do is we can just go in here, change the HTML to NJX, which is the nunjux extension. And now earlier, when I was taking a peek at the other at JK. If we look at the NJK files in the example, we'll see that like we don't really get any highlighting, right? We don't get any syntactic sugar, as it's called. And that's because we don't have the nunjux extension. So we're going to go ahead and take a peek in here. We're going to try to install the nunjux extension. Nunjux. Am I spelling that right? It's nunjux. So this is a Firefox project. The same people who made the Firefox browser made nunjux, which is pretty neat. So let's actually make sure we look up the nunjux extension, spelling it correctly. And we're just going to, let's see if this is the right thing. Definition, formatting, highlighting. There's so many people who've done this. Generally, we just want to grab whatever the highest install count is. I don't want to sync this, but I do want to add this to my workspace recommendations because we're using nunjux files. I think everybody who installs this thing should know that there's an extension for it. And so if we make a workspace recommendation, it'll open up like an extensions.json file under .vs code. And so it'll just say, hey, I think anytime that like you open up this repo, it'll be like, hey, do you want to install the workspace recommended extensions? So yeah, that's basically what that is. Okay, so now we can try to check this out by actually turning this whole thing into a actual like template. Okay, so I think it would make sense for us to turn this head into its own template. And that way we don't have to worry about this when we are looking at, I guess, like our actual index file. Where did my index dot? Oh, I put this in the wrong place. That's what happened. I want to put this over here. And I'll just swap this out. It doesn't really matter what you put under underscore site because underscore site is just going to get overgenerated. So like if you're working with a static site generator, don't be building things in the build directory because none of those things are going to get saved as soon as you rebuild. Okay, so now where do all of the templates go? They actually exist under includes. So we're going to just go ahead and make a new file that's just called head.njk. And in here, we should be able to just yoink this. However, I'm not too comfortable with kind of like just yoinking this and making sure that like it actually works. So I'm actually going to ask chat. I want to make this head file its own in its own templating file. What would it look like? Or actually, let's just leave it at that and see if chat can figure this out. Chat GPT can figure this out. Okay, cool. So that's all that we would need in order for us to actually import in all of the head stuff. Let's see. Did I actually? Oh no, I actually lost all of that. So what I can just do is just Control Z, Control Y, a little bit of time travel. Okay, cool. So now this is actually stashed in here. And so yeah, that we have that in there. Um, maybe we also want to have the footer. Actually, let's also include the HTML doc thing, and then also have that in here. And so that's kind of weird because like now this doesn't have like the other half of the tag. And that's okay because the templating engine, it just kind of like takes pieces and just says, hey, anytime I see insert head dot and insert everything that's in, not asking any questions about it, which is a recipe for shooting yourself in the foot. But if you're smart about it, what we can do is we just doing that HTML. We could just do include footer. There we go. Good auto suggestion. Let's go ahead and make a new file, footer.njk. Paste that. Right now, there's not going to be anything there because we don't have any other content there. And this is kind of like, yeah, I feel like if we want to make sure that this is consistent in every single page on our websites, then we need to actually have another file. So we should just call this base.njk. And so in here, we can then just do base include footer.njk. And we want to also have include that. And then we can actually have, I don't know what that's suggesting. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not getting too lost in the sauce. So I'm going to just go ahead and make a reference or take a reference here. Okay. So yeah, it would actually probably make more sense for us to, I'm going to just yoink this. I'm going to actually delete the head and the footer. This is much easier to work with. And I'm going to make sure that we actually copy this and this over to our base. There is a whole bunch of stuff going on here. We will go through that in a little bit. Let's see. Meta title. Okay, let's see what they did about the index page. See, so what they did here was they just printed out all of the posts on the main website. Let's see what home says. Your blog's information. Home. It's the individual page. Okay, so yeah, so base should be the thing where everything lives. We've got a title or meta title. Okay, so we don't actually have to worry about pasting in this title thing. Let's just focus on just like adding this thing in, and then we'll figure out we'll break down what everything else is doing later. Okay, cool. So let's start with this. I'm gonna delete those. No need to have. Okay, so now instead of doing all this stuff where it says like include nunchucks, this is kind of like treating these things as like a component. We can actually, if we look over here, we look at this, we should be able to see something that says like use include Posts list. Where is the core? Here we go. So remember that YAML front matter stuff? You can actually put that in the templating language itself. So if we go in here and we just chop this off and this off. Oh, I should have just like demonstrated that like this other thing worked with the header and the footer bit. Let's actually just run this and see if this is working. Road 0 files. You were trying to create an 11T layout for index.jk. Yes. You're trying to use a layout that does not exist. Ah, my problem is that it's just a pathing issue. So if I actually just copy over the pathing issue, this should not be an issue. Okay, let's see what it's complaining about now. File added, good. You're having trouble writing to sites to content. Unknown block tag, CSS. So it's probably talking about this because I didn't copy over this stuff. So what we're going to do is, I mean, it is still useful to actually have this public folder. So I'm going to copy this. We're going to just do that as well. Public, new folder, CSS, new file. Whoop. We'll just call this index.css for now. What? Oh, I must have tried to copy a path over. Let's just copy the actual file itself. I'm not going to worry about the other CSS files. Let's make a image directory as well, because it is useful to have. Actually, no. I think the images, it makes more sense for them to live with the actual files themselves, since we've already got like we know that the images are going to be living next to where these things are. Oh, but it would be useful to have for the main file. So you know what? I will make the okay. Images dot get keep. I'm assuming that this file extension, I'm not too familiar with it, but I'm assuming that it exists so that this folder itself is going to be replicated. Hey, Chad Friendlinden Lord. Hi. Welcome to the stream. Okay, let's see what the issue is now. Unknown block tag. Ah, so it's still hanging up on this block tag thing. Uncomment this. If you'd like folks to know that you used 11T to build your site. Sure. I don't mind letting people know that we did that. Plain text bundlers are provided via the plugin. For CSS, retrieve the bundle or get bundle. Or for JavaScript, I don't actually know what this is. Okay, sure. It looks like it's a way for us to bundle, yeah, like template level CSS, which is pretty neat. So I'm gonna actually leave that commented out for now and then come back to that later. This is an arbitrary CSS string added to the bundle. Added to the bundle. We ignored those. Honestly, all of that should have been commented out from the beginning. Okay, let's see what the issue is now. Unknown tag, current build state. It seems like the template thing is kind of reading through this HTML comment, which is kind of strange. So what we can do is we could we could just put another comment on that. This one should be the 11T layout comment. Okay, so we still got an issue. Filter not found. So it's looking for a filter. That's probably because I didn't copy over that filter other thing. Yeah, maybe it's complaining about this thing. Let's comment this out. It's probably complaining about just get to the main content. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna cave in and include actually this stuff over here. Actually, let's make sure that we actually copy over this package.json. That way we can actually run this site since we're taking a lot of inspiration from this. We're just gonna yoink their entire package.json. And then we'll also include our own dependency, which is the reveal.js. So I'm going to take this out, comment that out, go up, replace the rest of this, and then make sure that reveal.js is still in there. Actually, we don't even need reveal.js. What am I talking about? Let's make sure that the 11T, yep, it is on 3.0.0, which is good. Okay, cool. So now that we have yoinked the package.json, let's make sure the name is no longer 11T base blog. This is just workshops. The description is workshops and stuff. The author is me. Not going to have the email in there. Not going to have the URL in there because I'm not ready for that. Okay, so now we're still having issues with the navigation. I'm going to yoink the data. Oh, I don't remember what that was called. .js. Maybe I should actually follow the camel case. Where did the run and debug come from? Metadata.js. Ba, 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 ba. Oh yeah, sorry. So basically, what's going on stream right now is I'm trying to get it to run, and I'm trying to get the layouts to run, and so I've been relentlessly ripping code from this template, and it's still broken. So I'm like slowly pouring in more and more stuff. Maybe I should have just started from this template instead. But yeah, sorry if it's a bit confusing. Okay. Now we have to do a npm install to make sure that we have all of the packages that we yoinked from the package.json from the demo. Oh, have I tried Cursor? No, that's actually so valid. I have not personally tried Cursor, because I have Copilot already, and like I don't really want to try to worry about like migrating all of my plugins and extensions that I have on my current VS Code over to the new one. Um, I know at a lot of hackathons I've seen people using Cursor. Actually, no, I wouldn't say a lot, but I've seen people starting to use it, which is neat. It's really funny because a lot of them are like, I can't code without Cursor, and I'm like, bro, have you like considered learning things? Internal thoughts though. Yeah, no, I think it's good trying to avoid using AI to code. At least especially when you're still learning. Definitely just like disabling that is a good first step. Right now, like even though I have Copilot installed, I've only used it for like one thing, which was something that I ended up undoing. I could ask it for help in trying to make sure that all of this runs, but I'm pretty sure I know what the issues are here. So I'm a roll with what I. Oh, bro, filter not found. 11T navigation. The reason why I kind of wanted to keep that the thing from the base layout, um, with all of with this, is because I just wanted to kind of auto-populate all of the routes from my workshop. Um, and so the idea is that like, oh right, it's not actually running, so the browser won't load. The idea is that even when you make new files and folders and stuff under contents, your, I guess like 11T will recognize that you've made a new like file and stuff, and so it'll automatically create a new page on like your index file, and so you won't have to be constantly updating all of your links to be like, oh yeah, I'm actually like current with all of the things that exist. What is Cursor? Oh yeah, yeah. So Cursor is a AI code editor, and it's like all of the cool stuff right now. Cursor, get Cursor. Open source project, like all good things in life. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Yeah. Like I said, it looks like it uses the VS Code engine, so all of the extensions would probably carry over, to be honest. Yeah. I'm not really sure how they're still free right now. Well, let's take a peek at their pricing. There you go. Yeah, no. I mean, if I were in y'all's shoes, and I was still a student, I would definitely just use Copilot because the student developer pack gives you free Copilot, and like they use the same model. So like, yeah, I really don't see a need to like download another extension. The port Swigger browser. I have no idea what. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see that there's a bunch of new browsers popping up, especially seeing ones that aren't tied to Chromium. Um, if you've heard like of the Ladybird, Ladybird is the most ambitious one because I think they're building it completely from scratch, and so it has like no ties to existing browsers. Whereas like most of the other ones are forks of either the Firefox or Chromium engine. I haven't actually tried it out yet. Um, just because like I like having my extensions, and I don't know if Ladybird can support those extensions yet. Also, it seems like they aren't even like fully released yet. So I'm not gonna adopt one yet. Oh, really? Wow. So apparently the guy who made this project also kind of was able to custom build OS from scratch. Neat stuff. Okay, let's close out a couple of these tabs. I'm running out of time. We only got 9 minutes and I still don't have a working thing. So let's try to get that done for the stream ends. Okay. Um, you know the easiest thing to do? The easiest thing to do is to just comment out all of the code that's giving you problems. Let's see. Let's see if that. No. Okay. Invalid bundle type. JS. What is you? What is you complaining about? Oh, this is still a problem. I don't know what this heading anchors thing is. Okay. Okay, we have our it's not an MVP, but it's running. We have a demo. Yeah, we got a little distracted, but it's on topic with the theme of open source. So like I don't think it's really that off topic. The OS called Electron. I, I enjoy. I mean, I guess you could leave. We didn't even get to the juicy part of like actually seeing if our thing worked for all of the other pages. Actually, let's take a peek and see. Let's look under content, concepts. Uh, I don't remember what all of this stuff is there. Maybe let's look at fun D&D. I put concepts, content. Oh, I don't need the content thing. Whole? Still not being found. Okay. So clearly, we are going to need to take advantage of some more 11T magic to actually get that thing running. So let's take a peek at how the template made it so that you could actually access all of the things under content. Posts list, collections.post, fourth post, 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 post. Oh, oh, here we go. This seems handy. If we just take this JSON object and we put this in our contents, maybe everything that lives under our content is also going to have that. Actually, wait. There is a config folder. And there's also a 11tconfig.js. Maybe we can just straight up yoink this, the layouts, put that straight to config.js. Let's see if that works. Layout. Okay, let's find a route that we're pretty sure works. So I know I actually have something at the end of this. Creative programming -p5. Okay, so that exists. The layout, however, did not get picked up there, but that's probably because we don't have anything stating that it's being used. No. Okay, you know what, chat? It turns out it's been too long since the last time I actually programmed using 11t. So I'm actually just going to show you the repo that I built when I actually had a working 11t template. It's somewhere in here. Here we go. 11t sandbox. So I'm gonna just spin this one up. That way we can see that it does work. And so I didn't do a good job of like showcasing all of the wonders of like 11t actually working. I did do a good job of showing what the 11t going in almost blind looks like experience. So I'm gonna just show you how to do this. And then I'll add this sandbox over to our. Where is our? Oh, looks like I'm gonna have to open up a new. JAMStack resources. I shall update this. I've got so many VS Code instances in my browser right now, it's kind of insane. All right, which one? Thank you. Good stuff. Okay, npm install. Three minutes. Let's see if we can actually get this thing working at least. So I actually changed the input directory to source for this one instead of content. Pretty neat. So, whoa, high severity. Let's fix that. Okay, cool. Easy fix. We are now safe. Ugh. npm run dev. So yeah, this was a lot more bare bones, and this was the thing that I was trying to remember how to do for this stream, and I wasn't able to do it because my memory is pretty poor. All right, looks like we actually got this thing spun up. Let's open it up. Okay, cool. Yay! Look at that. So if we were to go in here, it's a lantern. Yay! This is some work stuff that I've done. Obviously didn't finish filling it out. But yeah, basically, like you can see here that like we don't even have to specify what kind of layout it's using, because that's what this thing does. It specifies our layouts right here as layout.liquid. So I used actually a different template engine in this one, which is the liquid instead of nunjux. We got tags in there, and so if we were to actually go in here, oh, I didn't implement tags at all actually. Funny thing is, the project tutorial that I was following to make this, they made it so that like they're using like it's like a dog API where it just like sends you pictures of a bunch of dogs and it just like completely random each time. I think I ended up changing my code around so that it was less random. and a little bit more deterministic. So I think if I actually cancel this and then run it again, we'll actually get a different dog. Yeah, there we go. We got a different dog. So there's a dog API hidden in here. I will let you all try to figure out where to find that. This is much more of a bare bones project than the thing that I was trying to rip. Um, yeah, so if you want to check out this, I'll drop it in chat. That pretty much wraps things up for today. Um, so thanks for tuning in. I hope you all were not dissuaded by my inability to code from picking up 11T. And I hope that you all had fun today. I certainly did. I really appreciate you all tuning in today. Okay, so without further ado, I will see you all another time. Actually, wait, no. I have one more thing I need to do. I need to shout out what the next event is, which I closed. GHW schedule. So the next workshop event, it's actually going to be a mini event, and it's going to be happening right now. So tune into the Gartic Phone mini event. That's probably going to be in the Discord. Um, and then the next workshop is going to be here. I'm not going to say the time because this is my local time. Okay. Well, I'll see you all very, very soon. Later.